still remember the scenes. My younger brother and I, with mom, went to visit our elder sister. There were many kids there, but my younger brother and I were huddled in one corner, just quiet and observing. When other kids laughed, we laughed. When other kids played, we struggled a bit to join in the play. And when other kids spoke in fluent Queen's English, we were immediately transformed into deaf and dumb, because we could not flow in English language. I still remember the scene. I was about to go into the Nigerian Military School, Zaria. And on the application form, there was a field to fill in the details of your father. I filled the name of my uncle and not my father, because for most parts of my childhood, dad was never around. I knew I had a dad, and mom would tell my younger brother and I that dad was a good man, just someone who had been a victim of the poor choices of life. And I still remember the scene. My younger brother and I moving with daddy, selling his native herbs. We got to a particular police barrack and we were seized. Dad was seized, younger brother was seized, and I was put into the police van and brought home to give information to my mom that one of dad's creditors had seized him. When you look at me today, you might not believe that. Or you might, because many of us who are coming to achieve success are people who were not bequeathed with great inheritance. We're people who had to climb 9 feet up before even breathing fresh air. Today, I'm called the Masterful Speakers Coach, but I never started that way. Today, I feel like Obama, who said, even though his dad was not there for him, he wanted to make sure that he would be there for his family. Today, I have only 3 aspirations in life. Not to be a billionaire like you, but I want to be 3 things. And if I would be all of those 3 things, I would be satisfied. I want to be an auspicious leader. I want to be an affectionate husband. I think I've achieved 2 of those. I'm just waiting for the 3rd one. I want to be an amiable father. Even though I did not have a father who I could point to when he came to school and say, "Come, this is daddy." I want that to be the experience of my children. Before they get to know about any role model in their life, I want to be their role model. And I want to point them to role models and tell them, don't just learn from one teacher, learn from many others, that you might not make my own mistakes. Today, as I've told you earlier, I'm called the Masterful Speakers Coach, but not only that, I'm called the Friendship Leadership Consultant. Friendship leadership is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful concept of leadership. And it's been my tremendous opportunity to have gone across the country to train people on this concept of leadership. The idea of friendship leadership is not so complex. It's quite simple. It is leading not through the love of power, but by the power of love. It is leading not because you command authority upon a group of people who shiver to get your every detail performed, but because they have this connection of heart with you for their loyalty to you. I was telling you earlier about my struggles. Because of those realities I had to face growing up, I grew up shy. And if I should tell you I'm an introvert, you might almost never believe it. Sometimes when I say that, I ease the tension in the room by telling them maybe I should say I was an introvert. And then they might begin to believe. But I remember what someone once said about introversion. He said introversion is not a weakness. It's a strength we often use less. And that liberated me. Friendship leadership is when you work with people and the people you work with are not afraid to give you feedback. They know that when they give you feedback and you receive it with so much joy, and you celebrate them for giving you a feedback that was not so pleasant. They know that the only way to make progress is when I'm able to show to my leader his blind spots. And when my leader makes progress, my leader's goal is not just his own progress, but the progress of everybody working with him. I struggled with shyness, and that's why today I'm very interested to train people who think that they are naturally reserved people and introverts, to use that strength of introversion, never to see it as a weakness, but as the strength that will help them to be the deeply thinking and the frankly speaking and the audience lifting masterful speakers that they need to be in order to inspire people with their story. Today, despite those struggles, I've had the opportunity to speak to several people. My biggest break came not too long ago. It was in October of last year, and gathered in Liberty Stadium were about 30,000 people. And connected all around the world were about 1 million people, and I kid you not. I had a tremendous opportunity to address a global audience, 30,000 people in one sitting. And you would wonder, how did that come to be? A session I delivered on WhatsApp a year previously. Putting all of the energy and excellence into preparation, making sure that my preparation was reflecting and reeking, deeply thinking. And then when I spoke, even though it was on WhatsApp, I made sure that I was frankly speaking, but I did it with a level of excellence that would make sure that people listening to me were lifted. Leadership is beautiful. Communication is beautiful, and that's what I do it. When you ask someone like Warren Buffett, what was the greatest investment you made in your 20s that contributed to the massive amount of wealth you now have? They will tell you, it's because I took a public speaking course from Dale Carnegie. So if you walk into my office, you would not see the certificate I received from my university, but you would see hanging behind my desk that precious certificate. I believe that we can begin to raise innovative and inventive thinkers, and we can do that by making sure that those young people whose curiosities have been shut down by parents who do not know that curiosity is the father of creativity and creativity is the mother of leadership. Let us override those conversations in their mind. Let us inspire and challenge and encourage them. Let us build a world of deeply thinking, frankly speaking, and audience lifting masterful speakers. It was my friend who once pointed me to TED Talks. And from TED Talks, I started to discover great people. My friend Israel Peter and my friend Sama Ade. These folks really changed my life when I was in the university. And then I started to read and study, and I came upon a quote that will forever be precious to me. This quote was from Howard W. Thurman. Howard W. Thurman was the mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said, ask not the world what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. As you leave here today, go come alive. The world will look for you. Thank you.